WWE fans must admit this about Liv Morgan. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. Because Liv Morgan, she is entering a new chapter in her WWE career as 2025 really starts to get a full swing of things. As we make our way to WrestleMania. And the road to WrestleMania is clearly underway. I think if you look at Liv Morgan's 2024, well, it sets up her 2025 because without the 2024, you could not have 2025. From her returning from hiatus at the Women's Royal Rumble match in 2014, setting the stage, making it very clear coming out of that match that the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour had started. What she was about to do next over the course of several months, no one, including herself, could have ever imagined. She goes into a feud with Becky Lynch. She falls short, ultimately, in that feud with Becky Lynch. Not because WWE didn't think that she had necessarily the quality to go over Becky Lynch, but let's be real, two things that happened. Number one, WWE needed Becky Lynch to be strong. She needed to be strong because she was about to enter into a program with Rhea Ripley, so she had to win. And they looked at Liv as a plug-and-play, a star that was right on the cuffs of becoming an upper card to main event type talent. But she was never quite there yet, despite all of her past success. And then Becky obviously loses to Rhea at WrestleMania. And coming out of Mania, they need another what? Plug and play. They needed someone for Rhea to beat. So they put her into a program with Liv, and they had a ton of history. Obviously, the year prior, Liv Morgan getting sidelined due to injury thanks to Rhea Ripley. And then, of course, as we all know, Rhea gets injured. They have to put the title on someone. It's Liv. But before they get to Liv, of course, they put the title on Becky Lynch. She wins a Battle Royale. And I remember, and I did a video at the time, but there was a lot of outrage. There was a lot of up-in-arms Liv Morgan fans out there wondering why, once again, was their favorite star being overlooked? Why, once again, she was being overshadowed? Why, once again, Rhea Ripley was going on top? Ultimately, and then, of course, it translated to Becky Lynch. Why was Becky the champion? And then, obviously, as we know, Becky Lynch, she took time off. They put the title on Liv. I say all that. I give the history lesson. I give the recap, the summary of all that for a reason. And that leads us to today's video. Liv Morgan going through the Becky feud, going through the ups and downs of the Rhea and then another Becky feud, missing out on WrestleMania, and then going on a multiple-month run as women's champion, putting the women's division of Monday Night Raw on her back, feuding with someone who was not on television for multiple months at a time. Not just a block, but multiple months at a time. And ultimately losing that said championship to Rhea Ripley at the Raw on Netflix this January. What does that all say? What does the fans need to admit? No one saw this woman be able to become such a great and overachieving star and champion. If you look at her run as Women's World Champion, who did she have to work with? Well, not the greatest of talents. It was not until Rhea came back at SummerSlam that she was actually be able to get in there with some top-tier talent. Someone in which they could absolutely go, both on the mic and in the ring. And then even when Rhea got injured a second time in the November-ish time period, she went into a feud with Io Sky. They actually worked Saturday Night's Main Event in December of that year. So there was a lot to go on there. She also had a match. Her and Raquel Rodriguez had a match with Bianca Belair, and I believe it was Naomi at the time. I think Jade had been taken out. Maybe Jade was in that match. Either way, so she mixed it up with them. So it wasn't until the tail end of her championship reign that she actually got some worthy, credible, star power type opponents that she really excelled, that she really moved forward, that she really got to be able to sink her teeth into. Because the majority of her run, especially in the summer, May, June, July, it was all about just survival. Like, she was just trying to get over as much as she could. She was plugged and played where she needed, and she was still trying to build up her credibility. Her credibility in the eyes of the fan base, her credibility as a main eventer, and her credibility as a women's world champion. That's what Liv Morgan had to do. She had to overcome all the past booking mistakes, decisions by Vince McMahon, Triple H, and everyone else. She had to get over in the eyes of the fan base that she was not a pretender. She was a contender. She was the main event. She was the top draw. And to WWE's credit, they quickly found out, okay, we don't have Becky. Becky is gone. Okay, we don't have Rhea. Rhea is gone. We have to create a new main event type talent on Monday Night Raw and then the Monday Night Raw women's division. And so they looked around, they go, okay, well, we got this name, we got this name. Well, we got Liv. We got Liv. She's super over. We rarely use her in a prominent way, but she's super over. Let's book her in this Battle Royale, because let's be real, at the time on the Monday Night Raw and then Battle Royale, it was Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch. That was your only two options. That was your only two clear-cut favorites. And obviously they went with a safe hand in Becky Lynch. They were still trying to sign Becky Lynch, right? She was not necessarily going with what they were speaking and offering in terms of money and creative and everything like that. She just wanted to go home and be a mom. And then you had Liv Morgan, who, yes, had past success and who had past championship galore and everything like that. In fact, she and Becky had feuded not only earlier that year, but 2 years prior, 2022 into 2023, something like that. And so it was a gamble. It was a gamble on Liv. And to their credit, they set her up for success, because what did they do in that time period? Well, they had her go over Becky Lynch not once but twice. She beat Becky Lynch at the King and Queen of the Ring PLE. 2 nights later, Monday Night Raw, steel cage match, Liv Morgan goes over. 2 significant wins. And yes, you can say, well, Dominic helped her win the title. And yes, Dominic helped her retain the title. So, she's a heel. What are we doing? He's the biggest heel in the company. Right? So, I don't got a problem with that. Whatever gets the job done, whatever gets the most heat, if you're a heel, do it. I don't care how you do it. Right? I mean, for years, we had to sit through Vince McMahon's scripted promos where all they would do would be insulting the live audience. Had nothing to do with storylines, rivalries, anything like that. It was all about the local crowd. Well, it got a reaction, so go with it, right? And that's what I say with Liv Morgan. But don't get it twisted. 2 things you cannot get wrong. Number 1, no one predicted the level of success in which Liv Morgan was able to generate for the WWE. Number 2, no one could have ever predicted the type of run that Liv Morgan would have to go through and ultimately have. And in addition to trying to cover Monday Night Raw's women's division as its top star, and really its only star, she also was plugged into the Judgment Day, where she had to become a top star there. So she was plugged into multiple segments, opening, closing, and multiple segments on Monday Night Raw. That's what Liv Morgan was able to do. That's what Liv Morgan was asked to do, and that's what Liv Morgan ultimately did for WWE. So admit it. Liv Morgan, she was a great champion who overachieved. That's what I'm trying to say here, y'all.